Hello, everybody. This is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel C. Robinson. Just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for coming in and joining in this morning's Q&A with me. We'll be talking about Daniel's case, of course, giving you some insights of what happened to Daniel, the date that he went missing. Also, I'll be talking about things going forward, as in the timeline. Give you a little bit of timeline that I've been continuing on from the last Q&A. I will be adding a little bit more content, a little more stuff to that timeline, so you guys can have an idea of exactly what happened, what transpired from my perspective, from the family's perspective as well. Also, I will be talking about the efforts going forward. As you guys know, I have been asking for Dane's case to be removed out of the Buckeye Police Department. I did send Chief Hall a letter requesting that, and the response that I received from him was unacceptable. It's kind of not even answering that call, not responding to that specific request. So the next step was some processes that I'm coming with, and I'm going to share that with you guys. If you guys can help me and join in with me, it's very important because I need your help. I always need your help, and I really appreciate you guys constantly showing your support for my efforts to find my son. There's no justice, no peace. I will be finding and seeking justice for Daniel. So thank you guys again. I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel C. Robinson. Thank you for coming into this Q&A, and we can go ahead and get started.
lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this morning's Q&A. I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel C. Robinson. Want to share his story with you this morning as well as answer your questions. Before I get started, I want to say one thing really quick. Happy birthday to my daughter, Talia Robinson. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday to you, baby. I love you, and I can't wait to see you today. But thank you guys for coming in again. This Q&A, some of the information I want to share with you guys, as well as what we're going to be doing going forward. I really appreciate you guys coming in to hear that and to be a part. Daniel was a native of South Carolina. He graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. My son graduated with honors. He brought his career out to Phoenix, Arizona, to make Arizona great. And, of course, you guys, as he went ahead and did his job, he got hired with a company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, an engineering company that hired him on as a field geologist and also a hydrogeologist. I will be talking about that with the timeline, you guys. Thank you so much again for coming in this morning. I'll be talking about that through the timeline. You guys can follow along with me. I did some of the timeline 2 Q&As ago, and I want to continue on with that. I did want to add some more to the timeline. As you guys probably could tell, I had to be very cherry pick some of the things I'm putting out on the timeline, of course, because it's, in my point of view, it's still an active investigation on my part, because I'm actually doing some investigation. I'm not sure what law enforcement is actually doing. Of course, you guys, we have found information that you guys know about Dan's case came from myself and my investigator. The things that Buckeye will share with you guys, they have yet to come up with anything tangible towards what possibly happened to my son. I want to tell you all thank you. Thank you, Tabitha, for coming in this morning. Thank you for your continuous prayers. I really appreciate you being here. Tilt Up 883. Thanks so much for being here as well. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate everybody. Tracy, thanks so much for being here this morning. Good morning to you. Shauna, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you too, baby doll. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Sophia, thanks so much for being here. So fresh smells. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. PM Channel, thank you again also for being here and constantly showing support. So I really appreciate Shauna again. Thank you for putting this, being here this morning, and also moderating. Gina, thank you so much for being here this morning. God bless you. I really appreciate you. And also, thank you, Shauna, for putting this information up, you guys, because once I come down the comment section, I will be doing this after I do the timeline. I will be coming down the comment section looking for your questions if you have any. If you do, if you have any questions, please put the capital letter Q, the word question, or some question marks behind before your question. That way I can find as I'm coming down. Question about the timeline that David has been reviewing the past couple of weeks. Start your questions with the question mark, the word question, or the capital letter Q, as Shauna had illustrated there. So thanks so much, Shauna, for putting that information there. RQ, thanks so much for being here as well. T and Wildflower, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you also being one of the ambassadors. I really appreciate you for everything you do. And Aaron, thank you so much for being here. Your constant love, support. Hello to you. Now, to get to the timeline, you guys, I want to just start off with the timeline, and then from that point, well, I'll tell you what. One of the things I want to talk about is, well, we'll go with the timeline. We'll start with the timeline, and after the timeline, you guys, we'll go from there and talk about things going forward. So, to start the timeline off, I really picking up from last week. So, you guys who have been here on the Q&A last week, you guys can remember me doing so. So again, I'm going to share this share screen with you guys. Thank you guys for coming again and going through this timeline with me. I know it's repetitive, and some things, if you had been here last week, you may see some of the same things, but it's very important, very important. So thank you again. All right, with the timeline, this is have you seen Daniel Robinson? Have you seen my son? He missing June 23rd, 2021. Like I said, you guys, Daniel came out of Columbia, South Carolina, and he's a native of South Carolina. Daniel was younger, of course. Daniel is a person that challenges himself, challenges siblings, as well as challenges his parents. Meaning that Daniel is a person that would never give up on anything, and so you guys, I'm not going to give up on him. As you guys can see, there's a tip line on the bottom of the screen that's strolling through there. If you know something, you need to say something, especially those who have direct knowledge to what happened today. I did get a lot of tips, you guys, that I'm looking into lately. Something that I can go on. But if you got any humanity inside yourself, you need to speak. Humanity speaks out. Allow empathy and courage to be your guide. Know something, say something. If you know something, you guys, it is just your opportunity to say something. That's what the tip line is for, your time to speak out. Also, the next thing here, you guys, like I said, 2019 College of Charleston graduate. Daniel graduated with honors in the degree of geology. This is a picture of him, one of his proud moments, of course. I'll be going through this timeline kind of quickly, you guys, because I want to get to your questions. We'll go into in depth with your questions. Daniel graduated, like I said, in 2019. He came straight out to Arizona from after his graduation to expand his career in geology, to go out and do wonderful things in life, to lead the bird nest. I'm really proud of him. It's a very proud day for him and the family. Of course, I just threw this picture in again, you guys, from the night that Daniel and I, our last night that we had together to hang out just one-on-one. Me and my son. So I really enjoyed that moment with Daniel, and those are memorable moments for myself. Again, Daniel Robinson came out to Arizona. The first thing he did, landed his first job with a company called Matrix New World, Metro Southwest Groundwater. They hired as an engineering company, hired him on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. He go out to various well sites and check viability of wells. You probably can tell, look behind in the background of this picture. You see some tractor and some other little things, but he got to various well sites and work sites where they check your groundwater, because in Arizona, just a desert state, you guys, this wells have to produce at least 100 years of water. It's required by law, something that's required by law, and Daniel's job is to help determine if those grounds actually have sustainable water for communities. So again, his job is very important. As you guys can look at how he's dressing, Daniel takes his job seriously. He takes pride in his work. I told you guys when he first came to Arizona, the first thing he did is bought himself a car. He's supposed to came back home. We'd have had him get him set up and things like that. But Daniel stayed out there. He took a class and stayed out in Arizona and set his own self up. Very proud of him. He bought himself a used car and made sure he was getting to work on time, being responsible, taking care of himself. And then he ended up buying the Jeep Renegade that you guys know about, the one that we found out there in that ravine. Of course, like I said, Daniel, very responsible young man. All right. Also, Let's see if I can get this thing going again. Also, let's see if I can go back the other direction. Here we go. June 23rd, 2021. The search for Daniel began. This is a picture, of course, Daniel, of him and his mother when he was younger. I just put that up for myself. Actually, you guys, one of my favorite pictures as well as showing you, you know, Daniel has a lot of love from us, from his family, as well as the picture of him enjoying what he enjoyed the most. You guys familiar with the picture behind there of him with the desert background. And he just really loved nature and being out in nature. And also the last picture of myself doing my search for him. You know, so unfortunately, these are combinations that are very hurtful. You know, you never think of a day that you'll be out looking for your child in the desert. Don't know what happened. So, okay, June 23rd, 2021, Daniel's last seen. One of Daniel's co-workers and also off-job friend named Roger came out to his sister's house and just inquired where Daniel was located. His sister, you know, of course, was really puzzled by that. First of all, how the guy know where she lived, but the other part is, you know, him asking if Daniel was there. So of course, my daughter ended up calling me. You guys can follow on the scene. I was going to be talking about it. Of course, my daughter called me and told me what was going on. She was very frantic about this guy coming over, asking and inquiring about Daniel. Of course, once I got a little more detail, I told her to go to his apartment to check and to make sure that you know, see if he's there. You know, so we had to do our due diligence. I had to do some phone calls. That's unlike Daniel, but at the time I didn't think of anything nefarious because I didn't know how long exactly he was gone. I was just kind of getting the information in my head, trying to get the thick of it. Of course, she made it to his apartment, and you know, he wasn't there. His vehicle wasn't there. There was a light on in his living room, and she can see that through a patio window, a slide door through the blinds. Of course, that brought some pause to everything, especially when we're not getting him to answer his phone. The phone just ring, ring, ring. And we talked to his friends, to other family members. I even reached out to his mother to find out if she heard anything from him, but nobody heard anything from Daniel, of course. So that's when things started getting to a point where I felt that things wasn't right. Called the Tempe Police Department because Daniel's a resident of Tempe at this time. He started off in Phoenix and later moved to Tempe, Arizona. At Tempe, Arizona was his place of residence, so I called the Tempe Police Department and tried to get a welfare check. I needed somebody to go in there and to make sure he wasn't in there. Something happened because the light was on into his apartment, and from what my daughter told me, but the Tempe Police Department declined to do so. All right. And let's see, they diverted me to the Buckeye Police Department. And the reason why they say is because I mentioned the word White Tank Mountains. I didn't know anything about White Tank Mountains. I was just hearing, I told him, hey, like I heard that he was last seen around some White Tank Mountains. I guess where I kind of put that. And of course, the dispatcher said that was jurisdiction is for Buckeye. Of course, I ended up calling the Buckeye Police Department and try to put in a request again for that welfare check. And they say they will reach out to Tempe. I don't know what went on from that point outside of the point that I started looking at the timeline and start really understanding that Daniel been missing over 6 hours. That really gave me pause because that's definitely something that Daniel wouldn't do, is out of his character. So, of course, I put in the missing person report, tried to. Of course, Buckeye told me that I need to wait 12 hours before I can report. Waited 3 hours, the extra time, and then reported him missing. All right. First thing I did, you guys, is ask the Buckeye Police Department later as I found information out, talking to Officer Cruz at the time, and to see if it's possible for them to go out in that desert to search for Daniel. He told me that they're riding up down the Sun Valley Parkway. Was I first heard that word, Sun Valley Parkway. They was riding up down the road in that area. In that area, meaning they was riding up down the road. They never went into the desert. I was actually on phone call all night with this officer. They actually just rode up and down Sun Valley Parkway, him and another officer, to see. And now I understand, you know, hindsight, because Sun Valley Parkway is a really long road. And they used to call it a road to nowhere. But to make sure that he wasn't stuck on the side of the road, what they told me at the time. I thought that was okay until I had doing more due diligence. I found out that no, he went missing. He was last seen in the desert. Just hearing that he's in the desert, his vehicle's gone, and nobody know where he's at or whatever the case may be. Yes, of course, the first thing I'm asking Officer Crew is to have a helicopter go out and search for him. At this time, I knew it was turning nighttime in Arizona, and they need to get somebody out there to search for Daniel. They told me they couldn't. He declined, said they can do it the next morning. I had to suck that up, walk the floor all night, talking back and forth, also Cruz, as well as talking to Daniel's coworkers, trying to get as much information I can, give Officer Cruz as much information I can until the next morning. Officer Haley, I believe his name is that joined in and came out. But anyway, came out to work and took over for Officer Cruz. He told me they was going to have a helicopter search. They can put one out. But then he called me back and told me that, of course, Buckeye Police PD refused to do the helicopter. They told me that his higher ups declined it and they unauthorized it because they feel that Daniel's a grown man. He can disappear if he want to. And that was the assumption that got Daniel missing to this day. All right. So the Buckeye Police Department refused to do a helicopter search, promising to do it the next day. On June 24th, Buckeye Police Department restricted the search. I have you guys. I go back over my recordings and phone calls, and I was talking to the detective then, one of the officers then, that on the 24th, who also told me that they had been restricted. The police department restricted the helicopter search for Daniel, and then my auntie intervened from Pennsylvania. So whatever she said, they finally had this Phoenix Firebird helicopter. You guys, I started traveling, of course, started heading towards Arizona when they denied this helicopter flight. But by the time I got into the outside of Phoenix, I did get a call from my auntie who told me that they had a Firebird, supposed to be having a Firebird search for Daniel helicopter. So of course that gave me some relief, but definitely, needed more at the time. All right, June 26, 2021. These are the agencies that I have contacted. Once I got on the ground into Arizona, I went to look out, find the NAACP. I couldn't find a physical location, but I reached out to them to try to get assistance, as well as the Red Cross, who was closed at the time. My daughter and I, we both was traveling around the areas. Like I said, the Red Cross was closed because of COVID. The building was open, but the office was closed. We couldn't find a person in their building. Because of the COVID situation at the time. Also, the Buckeye Police Department, of course, I've been working back and forth with them all the way up to Arizona. I've been going back and forth with them. Also, the Tempe, I reached out to them. They're the first initial person that I called when I realized Daniel was missing or something wasn't going right. The Tempe Police Department is my first point of contact. They, of course, I told you guys from Tempe was denied for their welfare check. They pushed me over to the Buckeye Police Department. The Buckeye Police Department did not do the initial welfare check. They took up some time to even do that welfare check, but at that point, I already realized that Daniel was missing. And like I said, I put in that missing person report with the Buckeye Police Department on June 23rd. Hindsight, you guys, if I'd known anything about Arizona, I wouldn't have called Buckeye, Arizona. I would have called the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office to have my son, missing person case put there. The Buckeye Police Department, June 26, 2021, first desert search for Daniel with the Phoenix Firebird helicopter. I know the Buckeye Police Department put the 25th, but what I have is the 26th as the correct timeline when the Buckeye Police Department had did the search. And that's based on a phone call that I got from the officers who told me on that call, when I go back over those calls, that it was still denied. It's unauthorized for that flight. Okay, this is the helicopter, you guys, the Phoenix Firebird helicopter, so you can identify what it looks like. Just hearing the name, so when I got to Arizona, I hear that they have this Firebird. It sounds like something that was out there to rescue. So I felt really relieved to hear that. It's Fire Police Department. And this is where I put the FOIA in, you guys. I put a FOIA in to get information about this helicopter search because of what I heard from Ken, at the well site who said he was there and he did not come in contact or even hear any helicopters out there searching for Daniel. Nobody came to the well site when he was there every day. So law enforcement was not at that well site or in the area searching for Daniel, according to him. You guys, if you want to believe that story. Also, but of course, I can't just take his word for it because there's a lot of things I don't take for it. So I put the FOIA request in. That just gave me, at the time, I didn't know anything. Gave me pause to say, hey, look, I need to check into this, this Phoenix Firebird helicopter that the Buckeye Police Department had claimed at the time. I just had the suspicions that maybe they're just telling the family anything because they denied it twice. And then ultimately saying they're going to put a bird in based on what my aunt, whatever she said. I said, you know what, that just could be something they did to make us feel better. All right. Spreading awareness. The Floyd Galloway show is one of the persons. Floyd Galloway is the person that I reached out to in Arizona. One of the people, you guys, I've been trying to reach out to everybody I can to put Daniel's story out quickly. Created the website, Please Help Find Daniel.com to bring awareness to Daniel's being missing, as well as reaching out in social media and every avenue I can in Phoenix, whether it's a radio station like Mr. Galloway, to the local news channels. This is his studio where I first, started putting flyers. I started creating flyers really quick, you guys. You can see it on the table there. Create those flyers to, get information. Everywhere I went, I took those flyers with me. They was really huge. It had already had the reward thing there, and tried to get, everybody I can, to reach out to everybody I can in Phoenix and surrounding areas to try to help me locate Daniel. Also had the local news, Josh Sanders from the local news channel in Phoenix. Also gave me my first break to get Daniel's story out there locally. Come out to the hotel where I was staying at the time when I first got to Phoenix, and to do interviews with me to get that story out, Daniel's story out. Also, another news crew, Arizona Friends and Family, also at that point started hearing about Daniel's case, and they also come out to the hotel and to help me get the Daniel's story out. Okay, you guys, also the awareness campaign that I had started out reaching out to the local news again, just different agencies, whether it's the radio stations to, like I said, the news organizations to social media, try to do everything I can to get this. As you guys can see, this is just a picture farther along, of course, when I was out doing desert searches. All right, the Ken interview. You guys, as you know, I had the first thing I wanted to do when I came to Arizona is to speak to Ken. As a father, you just don't take people's word for it if they tell you, hey, they tell you something different that you know about your child. I know Dane's grown man, so you're going to hear me say the word child. He's a child, and he's my son. But the thing is, the thing you know about your child is that that things that they saying or you hear just don't go with the character or the person that he is. So when I heard the story initially from Ken, of course, I had no reason to doubt it outside of the fact it just don't sound like Daniel. It just didn't make sense to me just hearing those stories from law enforcement. So, of course, I wanted to hear it out of his mouth. I said, hey, maybe law enforcement got it wrong some kind of way. This guy can tell me himself. He need to look me in my eyes and tell me about what he saw that day and heard that day from my son. Only person I can think of at the time who have any kind of indication of what happened to Daniel. So, of course, I went out there to meet him on June 28th. After I got in Arizona. All right, when I got there, you guys, I did reach out to Matrix New World. I didn't know Ken's number, of course. I didn't know anything about him outside of the story from the Buckeye Police Department. I was able to get in contact with them through Daniel's job, Matrix New World. His higher up, his supervisor, organized a meetup that day. On the 29th, you guys, I put the date, I had to correct that date on there, but the 29th was when I met out there with him. And, you guys, I'm telling you something, it was the strangest experience. Of course, I didn't know who to look for. We made it out to the gate. We sat there at the gate. I called back to let the gentleman from the job, Daniel's job, know that I was out there at the gate with my daughter and another person. And we'd sit in there and tell him, hey, tell Ken that we were out here at the gate. probably most likely the same as that spot Daniel was when he was met Ken at that same gate. We waited. They said he was on the way up, and lo and behold, this vehicle showed up. And this guy, it was a pickup truck. He pulled up forward, and then he backed up, and he kind of backed his vehicle up to the gate, right, and got out, and he approached our vehicle. You can see him here. This person is not Ken. I don't know who he is. I don't recall him actually even give me his name, but he showed up, and once he came there, I got out of my vehicle and started talking to him. Of course, I went back to his truck, and I said, "Hey, I thought he was Ken at the time. He told me he wasn't." And then he started questioning me why I wanted to speak to Ken. I told him, "Hey, I'm just Daniel's father, looking for answers. I just want to hear his side of the story, pretty much. I want to hear what he had to say, hear from him, hear from the horse's mouth what happened to Daniel." Of course, this guy was like, "Hey, well, he's at the well. He's at the well site, and he can take me there." I asked him, "How far is it?" He said, "Oh, it's about 20 or so miles." I mean, he gave me this wild distance. I didn't know, so how would I know? Of course, I was like, "Man, that's really far. That's too far." But he's been kept insisting that I get in the vehicle, and I said, "No, I'll be okay. I'll just wait on him to come on up." But he reached over to his passenger side and knocked all his trash that was in his seat on the floorboard and say, "No, I can take you to the well site." And I told him eventually, "Look, I'm not going to leave these ladies here at the gate." As you can see, someone holding the camera, of course, is one of them holding the camera, taking the picture. I'm not leaving them at the gate while, I go down in some desert 20 some miles away, while they're waiting at the gate. So make a long story short, this guy reached out to Ken. He said he gonna call Ken. He got on the phone. I was standing there at the door. He started having a phone conversation with Ken. He was dialing the number, and he called Ken. And once they started talking on the phone, he got in his vehicle, sat there, and he pulled forward. He pulled his vehicle forward out of earshot of me, just to have this conversation. Once they had their conversation, he backed the truck up back in that spot and told me that Ken was on his way. Okay, we waited. A little while later, it was not really that long. I'd say about 10 minutes or so. Ken showed up. He showed up with a Weber truck. You guys, I told you before, is a utility truck. This is it here. He showed up in this white utility truck, and the first thing he did when he got the vehicle, he's facing towards the gate. And the first thing he got out when he got the vehicle is open that side hatch there and put his hand there and just stand there with his hand inside the compartment. I was watching his hands, trying to see what's going on, like why he, doing that, being a military guy. I thought he was reaching for a weapon or something or finding something. I don't know what he's doing. The way he was standing, he was on the defensive posture. So, of course, tell him, hey, talk to him who I am, what I was there for. And then from that point, he seemed like he eased up, and then he started walking towards me, and we had our conversation. All right. Had a conversation there. I've been asking his questions. He's been answering my questions. I mean, he told me the story verbatim. It's almost like, it was like I'm not saying it was rehearsed, you guys, but it felt like it was so rehearsed to the point that it was like word from word, exactly how Officer Cruz said he said these things right to me. I mean, exact words. No line was out of place. The information was exact because I had the notes from Officer Cruz that I remember on a piece of paper that you guys see me holding in my hand. I had an ink pen to write down everything he was saying to me at the moment. And at the same time, my daughter and the other young lady was there to also take notes and hear what we were talked about. So holding the camera. All right. And that's when he started changing his story, you guys, and telling me some things about staying left of the tracks so he didn't disturb them too. He knew the law enforcement would come look for Daniel, and this thing would become national, right? How he stayed left of the tracks and went out west and came up to this gate. He followed the trail out where Daniel went to the right out west. He came up to this gate. He came up to a wooden gate. You guys opened it up, and he went another mile or so, and he got his vehicle, walked a good distance, got up on top of a hilly area where he could look over view to see if he could see Daniel from a distance. And then he said he started marking the tracks with red rocks with red paint to mark the tracks where the tire tracks led to, is what his story was. But anyway, all this detail that he was giving me was really deep for me at the time. It registered that, wow, this is a really deep story. So I wrote all those things down, and then I reported it over to the Buckeye Police Department. To this day, you guys have never heard of that because, like I said before, the Buckeye Police Department is very selective to what they wanted in their report. Very selective. Anything that would suggest anything that towards a foul play, they make sure it's not there, in my opinion. All right, here we go here. Also, grassroots search for Daniel started July 3rd. You guys, I've been out on that Sun Valley Parkway, the same roadway where I met Ken and also this other guy at that gate. I stand at that gate almost every other day, sometimes every day, just to, since I've been in Arizona, to, you know, see if I can see Daniel from the roadway, you guys. The vehicle I had is a very low riding vehicle. I wanted to go in that gate and drive, but I was advised by the Buckeye Police Department not to go in there because they say, hey, there's a lot of dips. It just looks flat, but it's not really flat. I could accept that at the time. Being a military guy, did tours in Afghanistan, so I understand about desert terrain. I didn't know anything about Arizona desert terrain, so I still was at that point doing research and also learning about the Arizona desert. Of course, the guys that, like I said, started grassroots search for Daniel. I reached out to the community broadly, and I don't know how my search coordinator, ended up being my search coordinator, showed up, but he and I connected somehow. You know, to this date, I still don't understand how he just showed up. I just put it that way. He showed up, and he was able to tell me that he had knowledge of that desert. He's out there. He lived in Buckeye, and of course, I needed that. Someone like that who can know about that desert for Buckeye, and also to help me coordinate the search effort. Of course, he's from Arizona, so he has some connections where he could reach out to various groups that he was a part of. I think he said he was part of the Maricopa County posse at one point, and also some other little dealings with the police department. I think it could have been Buckeye or some of the others, but I think it was Maricopa County or Buckeye, one out two that he was really kind of associated with in the past. But the thing is, you guys, he helped me with the coordination. We also opened up searchfordaniel.org. This is organized just for the search itself, and I kept the Please Help Find Daniel.com to put out information about Daniel himself, you know, the family information. So those two things work together, and we started a search. Of course, you guys, the grassroots search for Daniel started July the 3rd, 2021. Thanks to all the people who came out to the desert with me, and I mean the hundreds of people who came out to spend all that time with me, early in the morning and late in the evening. You guys been out there in 118-degree weather. It's been summer around that time, and really hot. But everybody showed love, and I show love back to them because they're my family, my extended family. I really appreciate everybody. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go kind of quicker. I've been 42 minutes into this thing already. June 28th, 2021, July the 19th, 2021. Small details, you guys. I met with Ken Elliott, as you guys know, also that the Buckeye Police Department put me and my daughter into an interrogation room, had us to come in. We wanted to give information to the Buckeye Police Department. Anything we could help. They wanted some look at Daniel's phone record. We told them about this last transaction. We couldn't get the also the Waffle House, and also the last transaction at this gas station. We had to get that kind of date organized, because the way the transaction came out on Daniel's bank statement, it seemed, you know, we couldn't tell if it happened on the 23rd or not at the time. So, but we ended up finding out that, yes, going through it, we looked at it, said, hey, this is the last transaction that Daniel had. So we brought that up to the Buckeye Police Department and gave that information to them. Also, like I said, you guys, when I got into the Buckeye Police Department, they told us to come around the back. They opened this gate and they brought us through the back of the police department, where we came in through a back door, and they put us in this interrogation room. Of course, you guys, at the time, I didn't know an interrogation room. I'd never been in one. I'm not a criminal. Never been in an interrogation room, but that's something I've seen on television. And in hindsight, now I know that's exactly what it was. They sat on the other side of the table. They had us sit there for a while to think of anything we could think of. I mean, anything. I mean, we had to think hard about anything that seemed suspicious for Daniel, if he was depressed or whatever the case would be. That was the narrative of our what was told to think of, what we can find that was. And my daughter ended up coming up with a story about him staring off at an apartment, and I said, yeah, it could have been some parts where he felt a little down or something. I don't know. Just kind of trying to feel and try to come up with some reason why Daniel could be missing. I think that's the way we took it. But the point is, you guys, we sat there and we also, I was able to give information and get information from Daniel's cell phone record. Is that his sister, Daniel's phone, she owned that account, of course, you guys. So she was able to go in there and kind of stroll down on her phone to show the Buckeye Police Department officers that the information that was there from the phone records, because she was able to access that's her phone account, and show some of the phone calls and things like that from across the table. There was no paperwork given to Buckeye and things like that, as they may give y'all the impression. Also, there was no paperwork to give about this transaction on this at the gas station. But we showed it on the phone, and also we went to get more information from the USAA Bank, which I am, for my children, I'm the sponsor for that account because I'm military. And so I was able to get limited access and limited information from enough to know what was going on with Daniel's bank account. There was no movement from the 23rd. There was nothing, no transactions. His money coming to his account remained there. He had the same consistent, to this date, the same consistent withdrawals, like, things like his car wash. He had a recurring car wash thing that, of course, we still unable to stop. Also, you guys, on here it says July the 6th, the Buckeye performed a welfare check of Daniel's apartment. That's the first time, you guys, any law enforcement agency went into Daniel's apartment, right? And that was something that we talked to the landlord about. I tried many times to get inside Daniel's apartment. They would not allow us to do so. They wouldn't even allow Buckeye to go in the apartment without a warrant. But we talked to them on the phone. They agreed to allow Buckeye with 2 officers only to walk in, but they had to be accompanied by the management of that apartment complex. They couldn't touch anything, but they could take pictures, and that's exactly what ended up happening. July the 8th, nameless case was created, you guys, and think about this. This was created on the 8th. They were missing on the 23rd, but that's according to the nameless website. July the 9th, Buckeye Police Department did a second search with the Civil Air Patrol. That's almost a month, 2 weeks after Daniel went missing. They used Civil Air Patrol. I was there to make sure, because I was really suspicious about them claiming this Phoenix Firebird helicopter search, which, that's to this date, I can't find a record of. Also, July 12th, the Buckeye Police Department put information out to the public about Daniel's disappearance. No matter what they say on their record, that's exactly when they started putting out information to the public about Daniel's being missing and things like that. Like really they put some things out probably on their little social media account, I guess. I don't know. But this is the first time they ever put information out to the public. July the 19th, Daniel's Jeep Renegade was found in a ravine out there in the in that Sonoran Desert, a little over 3 miles away from where Daniel went missing. So reportedly went missing from that well site. Of course, it been found by the rancher, you guys, as you know the story. This is the vehicle, July the 19th, sitting in that ravine on the side. You see the significant damage to that vehicle, but so we know the information about that vehicle and its damage. Clothing was 3 feet away from the vehicle, in a pile. Safety vest as well. One boot tucked under the vehicle, the other on the other side of the vehicle, and all dangerous personal effects was found in the vehicle. All right, that's the boot that's tucked under the vehicle. One thing the rancher had pointed out to me, he said the front end of that, where the boot part of that boot is stuck up under the vehicle itself. From his perspective, what he said he saw when he came to that scene. And this is exactly how he said it, you guys. He said, Mr. Rouser, unless your son is a superhero, I don't know how he can lift that vehicle up and put that boot there under there. And also the thing that the boot's sitting on, you guys, that's stuck up under the vehicle as well, is the panel, is this sunroof panel. This vehicle do not have a sunroof. Traditionally, like your sunroof, if you have a vehicle, it don't have a glass. In other words, it's not a glass sunroof. It's just a panel. Other part about that as well is that the panel, you guys, for that sunroof, the only way it can be removed is you have to use a key that's located in the back of the vehicle. And but the Buckeye Police Department feel that Daniel used his superhuman strength and kicked his way out of the sunroof. All right, but that's the panel that goes to that sunroof and it's stuck up under the vehicle as well. All right, this is inside the vehicle. You guys can see that the airbags deployed, the seat belt and things like that. Things moved around and thrown around. There was some samples in that vehicle as well, baggies of dirt, samples from the well. That gave me pause too as well in this investigation as well. You guys, when you think about it, if Daniel hadn't already did any well samples, how he had well samples in his vehicle, but that's exactly where this dirt and stuff come from, is baggies of this dirt and that he collects from the well site to check those viability of well, I guess the type of rocks and settlements on the bottom of the well. That's part of his job as a geologist. Also, you guys, the graduate search for Daniel, of course, continue. This is me searching a vertical mine that was located near the crime scene where the vehicle was found. And also, there's also a horizontal mine that is a little south of this one, not too far as in walking distance, and had that search as well. More small details. July the 20th, Buckeye Police Department told me that the vehicle was found. They told me over 24 hours after the vehicle was found, you guys, though I was out in the desert every day almost, have searches there on the weekend, public search on weekend, out on weekdays, searching out there in that desert for Daniel. They knew I was out there and felt like they didn't want to disturb me. The excuse was, and I asked them why they didn't tell me the day of, on July the 19th, that the vehicle found. He said, it's because we didn't want to disturb your sleep. Like I'm sleeping out there. I came to Arizona. You guys drove over 2,000 miles to find my son, and I'm somehow sleeping. That was a big insult to me. I was pissed by that. But that also goes with the rancher's account. He said the Buckeye Police Department specifically told him, as soon as they showed up on the scene, they told him, don't tell. The first thing they spoke to him was, don't alert the news media and don't alert the family that this vehicle was found, right? Whatever the case may be, for whatever reason. For one thing, they could have told me about that, right? Also, the vehicles found, they alerted me on that, but also on the 20th, that same day when they showed me the vehicle, you guys imagine me seeing it for the first time the way they showed it to me, not the way that Daniel intended for me to see it in July, which we already had plans that I was coming to visit. His sisters and I was going to have time together in July to, spend time together. And I was going to ride his vehicle for the first time. But the way I saw it was on the 20th of July in this condition. I was stunned, devastated. The Buckeye Police Department Buckeye Police Department Detective Biffin was trying to get me to touch that vehicle for whatever reason, but I was stunned. I couldn't even move, you guys. For the next thing, when I asked him, told him, hey, look, I had enough. I need to get out of here because it was really emotionally hard for me. The next word out of his mouth was that I had to have that vehicle removed. If I didn't, I'd have it towed away and I had to pay storage fees. I had to have it removed that day. So that's when I got that threat that the vehicle needed to be moved out of the facility. All right, 22nd, I ended up having a meeting with the Buckeye Police Department Chief Hall and his whole entire crew, his whole team. When I say team, is also the detectives in that case. That's when I learned that they did not do any forensics. I'd learned it before this, guys. That's what I was thinking. I'll tell you guys this. And I went over the phone calls again, and I listened to Detective Biffin. And before this meeting, I asked him, you guys, I said, this is amazing to me. When I'm able to go back through this timeline, you guys, and go back over my notes to listen to the recordings or the phone calls. And, the first thing I found out is before this meeting, Detective Biffin told me the reason why they didn't do no forensics on the scene. They didn't do anything forensically on that scene, and because he said he didn't see anything that warranted, right? No blood in the vehicle, blah, blah, blah. He didn't see anything that would cause him to want to do any type of forensics work. So that's why none was done. They just dragged the vehicle out of there into that compound recklessly. So those kind of things don't make sense to me. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. That's why that backs up when I say in that meeting as well that's recorded and also had a witness is that they said they didn't know forensics on that scene. Guys, I demanded. So any kind of forensics that was done from that point, you guys, it was because I demanded those fingerprinted. I demanded it at that table to Chief Hall. I demanded a copy of the report, which he told me it was a partial report at the time, and he's going to give me the final. He used the word final report, which they ended up giving me. Both of us unredacted. And also they gave me all the pictures that I requested because they kept using the word plurals, pictures. They only gave me one picture at the time. But that's where this picture, you guys, behind me came from, the Buckeye Police Department. But they finally gave me pictures, and he said, "I'm gonna give you all the pictures." They even gave me the pictures with the drones, right? There was no helicopters, that they claiming. So that's the whole point I'm telling you, make guys. They keep claiming all this helicopter stuff and this cadaver dog stuff. I'm going to get this for you, of course, eventually, guys. That's what you guys are going to come in to play with when I finish talking about this timeline. We're going to go into the part where you guys are going to help. If you want to help, how you guys can help get this information. You guys will be educated on what happened in Dane's case as well, and also how we're going to go forward with this protest. All right, so we will be having a protest coming up, and this is how you guys can help me. I'll talk about that. Also, they gave me the Buckeye Police Department on the 22nd as well, gave me the partial report, and also later gave me, like I said, the full report, final report, they said. And also they gave my investigator, when I brought him on, the black box data, crash data, because they told him in his face, straightforward, from one hand, talking together, he told me they said directly to him that they're not investigating Dane's case. That's the reason why they gave that stuff over to him. Okay, until you guys, of course, when they turned national, now they're talking different. The thing is, 7:23, I guess, Chief Hall and Rancher showed up. You guys, that was a search right after our meeting. Of course, I didn't stop my searches. When that vehicle showed up, that just really put some, because, every Wednesday I have a meeting with my search coordinator, and we talk about the areas that I want to search. And the plan was to search the area near the well site. I didn't know the vehicle was going to show up, you guys. But when that vehicle showed up, of course, that changed some things. We didn't have any plan of searching the area because I didn't know where this vehicle was found, man. I just had a map that they gave me, 2 maps and 1 picture. I don't know anything about Buckeye and how to use that in relations to where to find, because the way the map was given to me, I didn't have anything to give me some real indications where I got to go out there and at this moment and try to find the spot where this vehicle was found. So that wasn't included in my search, you guys. But somehow my search coordinator at the time, like I tell you guys, he had some affiliations with the Buckeye Police Department that I found out hindsight as well, he came out kind of late that morning, which he never did before, and he brought along Chief Hall with him. They came into the search. Chief Hall came out his vehicle. He started grandstanding and telling the crowd of people if they wanted to see where this vehicle was found. Of course, people were saying yes. He ignored me and my daughter, and he just I said the way it was done, like Moses leading the people. He was leading us to this area over the hill. We was very close. I was wondering why I was in this place near the quarry, because my search coordinator at the time, that's the first time I ever been in that spot. He knew where it was. He told me, hey, David, this way, let's meet down in this area. He told me, pretty much split it out to me how we're gonna get there. Of course, I was leading people down in this area, and I said, oh, this is a good area. It was really wide open. People can park their cars. It was a lot easier for parking. I had no clue that I was only very close. When I say very close, I mean walking distance, very close walking distance to where this vehicle was found, the crime scene. And I didn't know at the time. And my daughter standing there, and so Chief Hall led us out there and showed us, meaning everybody except the family, and started grandstanding about the cartels and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, until the rancher showed up also there, and he's yelled out really loudly. I don't know why Chief Hall is telling y'all the wrong location, but it happened right here. He pointed down this other ravine, and lo and behold, I saw the glass on the ground. Chief Hall turned red in the face to that point, left Paul Peasants with red face, and never ever showed up to that search ever again to this day. Also, July the 29th, the search for Daniel, we found a human remains, of course. Before this human skull, you got the skulls are found near the crime scene. It's very short walking distance from the crime scene where Daniel's vehicle showed up. Same area, real close, where Buckeye said the Maricopa County Sheriffs used their dogs, even though the rancher said there's only one dog was out there and it came 10 o'clock at night. They said they had used their cadaver, like several of them, a bunch of them, and they haven't found anything. They haven't found, even though they say there's Daniel's clothes on the ground, they haven't found nothing to track Daniel down, moving away from that scene. They never found any. They did find the tree that later, hindsight, my K9s that I put out there in the searches alerted in 2 different times a tree that was near that area of human. That's all they do is track, I hate to say it this way, deceased humans. And also, they have not found a human skull. In other words, law enforcement, like I told you guys, I use it all the time, they haven't found the construction cone. They haven't found anything to this date out in the desert. But we've been finding things. We've finding, like I said, human remains. We end up finding this human skull. We end up finding other human remains. There's also 2 cell phones near the area. We also found clothing items in the same manner, in the pile, the same manner the so-called Daniel clothing was found from another person out there. So all the stuff is given to the Buckeye Police Department, and this whole area is a crime scene, guys. All right, and let's see here. Let's see what I got here. July the 30th, I started receiving death threats right after that, you guys. Started receiving death threats and also things that was very disturbing to me as a father. People claiming to have Daniel broke his legs and all kind of stuff I used to have to hear. Got him down in basements and, just you name it, you guys. This is the kind of stuff that was going on. I reported those things to the FBI. Did call the FBI on that. They did take a report, but they told me, I don't know how they related to Daniel, because it's to me. Threat was to me, but they said, hey, look, you have to get Buckeye Police Department, let them know since you got the case with Daniel, and they can call them in to investigate or something or other. I did so, exactly what they said. They reported at the Buckeye Police Department. To this day, they said they ignored that as well, and to this point, and have done nothing. The last time I brought it up, you guys, in 2022, Chief Hall at the dumbfounded, like he didn't know anything about it, but that's his department, right? So again, let's see here. On the 8th August the 21st, 2021, I did a special targeted K9 search, you guys. Like I told you, both teams located a suspicious tree. When I say suspicious tree, they alerted on this tree 2 different times, right? And I do have a report, you guys. I would like to share that with you guys. Also, I had a family press conference. I brought Daniel's mother and flew her and my Daniel's oldest son out to Arizona. Daniel's twin sisters joined as well, and also Mr. McGrath and some others. That was part of Larnell as well, part of the efforts to help find Daniel. Now, a lot of other people showed up as well, but we definitely, Gisette Knight as well as one, and Miss Wood is another who came out to support the family press conference. But we want to get Daniel's this press conference and let everybody know what was going on, and let them know what the Buckeye Police Department has been doing or hadn't been doing. And that's the reason why I had this press conference in front of the doors of the Buckeye Police Department to protest that non-action. With the mother feeling pain, you can see the pain in her face, his brother, and and the non-action of the Buckeye Police Department, the way that we started realizing that all the stuff that they say they was doing and the actions that they could have done a lot better and everything else, non-existent in a sense, was hurting us. It's hurting us as a family. We're seeing no results or anything. They didn't do no cell phone pings. So this stuff, you guys, they put on their report. I promise you guys, I got those information. They did not do any looking for cell phone pings. They might put that on their report and stuff like that. Got to look at it this way, you guys. This department have a history of falsifying documents. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, because they didn't do no cell phone pings when we asked for it. They told us they couldn't get one because it's not a criminal case, and they would not be able to get it from a judge. That's what they started off with. They didn't do any video footage that they said, anytime, Daniel. I got real sarcastic. Hey, look, just show me any video of Daniel ever driving in Arizona. My son is from South Carolina. They couldn't come up with that. This came up with something out of California when he was going to see his sister a month before. And also the Uconnect, it conveniently showing all 0 grids, and they slipped out. They ain't put this in the report, but it slipped out and told me that Uconnect said that anytime it comes with 0 grids, they claim it. That means somebody disconnected the battery or tampered with the device, right? And you don't see that in the report about the tampering device or the battery being disconnected. The only thing you hear is, oh, it's 0 grids. Reach out to Uconnect. Right, it's a lot of details to that story, you guys, that I'm sharing with you guys. That's very highly suspicious to me. You know, everything that we could conveniently to help locate my son, it was conveniently, in my opinion, blocked by the Buckeye Police Department. Also, you got August the 25th, I received a tip from Idawood, California. You guys reported possible sightings. I've been getting a lot of those around that time. On the 27th, received a tip from Sedona, went Sedona to a Sprouts grocery store, as well as September the 7th, 2021. Investigator turned over all the evidence that we found, hard physical evidence of foul play. This is a stage event to the red transfer on the vehicle, all that stuff, you guys. They did not like it because Buckeye Police was strong on this vehicle. He was 30 days. They was out there trying to talk in the press. They're saying this is the vehicle being here for 30 days. They kept pressing this whole story about the young lady. Literally, during this time, I didn't put a timeline, but it's going to be added timeline as well. When a reporter came to me, a local reporter came to me, friend now, and she went out to Buckeye Police to do a story. And that's when they first released the police report out to the public, you guys. And she came back, she said, hey, I got the police report, David. But when she showed it to me in her hand, it was a little area highlighted in yellow. I thought she did it. I said, oh, and she started talking about, she did ask me about the young lady. And do I know? I said, yeah, I had the conversation about that, but I noticed you got it highlighted right here. And she said, oh, Buckeye is the one that highlighted that area. You know, so that's when I told her, look, this is a character assassination attempt from the Buckeye. Throw off everybody from their Nicolette to wherever the case may be, and that just made me even more angrier because it's been shown they did whatever they can to try to throw the story off, and you know, in my opinion, to throw off from and everything else, and also to make Daniel appear to be a victim of his own circumstance, right? I'm even hearing out in the public right now, you guys, that somebody claiming that one of the detective Biffin is going out and saying that the family been calling for some welfare check before Daniel went missing. And I can tell you straight out, you guys, you hear stories like that, is flat out untrue. Never, ever had an opportunity or occasion where we had to go do a welfare check for Daniel because he had some issues mentally or anything else. Daniel have no indications of anything. You have no diagnoses of any issues like that. So those things are a bunch of falsehoods. That if you hear those kind of rumors that's going out there and in the air right now, those are rumors. We don't have that anyone calling for some welfare check for Daniel. All right. Also, I interviewed the rancher on the 16th. He came out to my hotel. He and I had a long discussion. Have everything that he getting. He said he's willing to testify to, and as well as at the point while we were talking, so happened to have my investigator, Mr. McGrath, was coming up for an unrelated thing, and he was also able to talk to the rancher at the same time. All right, September 26th. I learned a lot from that rancher, by the way, you guys. His interpretation of what happened on that scene. Of course, you know, you guys, he's the person that found the vehicle. So he was able to give some real high depth information. You know, he's a fourth generation cattle rancher. He's talking about how clean the vehicle was. You know, he's seen dirty stuff. He's seen vehicles out in that desert all the time. He said when they sit out there for a couple of days, they have desert. He called it desert dirt. They get desert dirt on it. He said that vehicle was dirty. The wheels was clean. If it rained, there would be mud on it. He showed me how it would come down the ravine. It's almost like a bridge, you guys. I showed you guys this before, and I'm gonna show you again real quick. If you look behind me, let's see if I can orient myself this way. If you look behind me, there's a little space right here under the vehicle, right? You guys look up there, there's space. That's a ravine. The water runs from north to south, and that vehicle is crossing over. It's almost like the vehicle is a bridge, right? land across there, and that water flows. If it's heavy rain, like they claiming, the Buckeye Police Department, with that hard hat filled with rainwater, quote rainwater, that water would have been flowing down that wash, right, and that ravine, and that's a wash, and it would have collected. Guys, we go out all the time in the desert. Everywhere you go, anytime water flows in the desert, it always carry these dead branches and debris, because they become so light they float in the water. But it would have collect there. It would have been like a ring around that little area where the sunroof is. No, that would have been clogged, right? They would have been free flowing under there. And so it's almost like a dam. Would have built a dam in a sense, you guys. And so those are indications where the vehicle, there, he's talking about how clean the vehicle was, and his cattle come through there. If they would have saw the cattle that come through, they would have saw that vehicle, they would have been messing with the clothing. They would have been sitting there for a long while. You've seen cattle droppings. They would have been trying to lick the dirt, salt off the vehicle, as well as they would have been trying to get those cases of water that was in that vehicle, right? None of that happened, because he said the vehicle wasn't there. He's giving us indication to say why, what his expertise, living in that, know about that desert, being a fourth-generation cattle rancher. That's his land, about his land, what happens out there. So it's a lot of indication that's being ignored purposely, in my opinion, by the Buckeye Police Department as well. Too much stuff. His story timeline is being ignored. They just say, oh, some rancher found the vehicle and that's it. I mean, they're not going into the details of what the rancher said. The vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days. He was there to see that it wasn't there in this very spot, right? So anyway, the whole point, and then also, you guys know, their own search itself indicates that the vehicle wasn't there, because they didn't find anything by searching that. They say they did this helicopter search in that same area. They did Civil Air Patrol on the ground and in the air over that same area. And then, they claiming the vehicle wasn't there. But then when you ask them about it, they say, oh, the brush was so high and it was hidden. You guys, I keep forgetting, but I want to add in the timeline. I will add a timeline, the pictures that they gave me, and so you guys can see their viewpoint from their drone footage, which the drone is not going higher than the helicopter or even lower. They're claiming it was flying low with the Phoenix Firebird helicopter and stuff like that. I want you guys to look at it really good, and you tell me if there should be any reasons why you didn't see this vehicle if it was there. It's impossible. You guys can see the brush that's right on this right here where I'm at now. If you guys look at this brush right here, that's about how high everything is. You'll find 1 or 2 that's taller than that, but a few, about 2 or 3, but it's not in that area like that. You go from the vantage point looking down at this ravine, you guys. I promise you guys, when I show this to you, you guys like, yeah, that they full of molasses or whatever you want to call it. They're full of crap. And about this hidden thing. But anyway, you guys, let me see where I'm at now. The Buckeye Police Department hired their own. Once we gave them this thing, you got this information, all this turnover, all this stuff to them. They hired their own private PI. They didn't like what Mr. McGrath had came up with. They didn't like the fact that he pointed out the 2 impressions on the windshield. Also, hindsight, you guys, the same damage. Remember that vehicle that was sitting on the side of that road, Tooth Hill and Elliott, the road, that only road you got that leads to the first well site and lead out of that well site. The only way you can go through is you got to go in that road where this vehicle's found, right? The person who found that vehicle, took the picture of that vehicle, described the same damage on Dane's vehicle, the 2 presses on the windshield and the damage on the front end. That is purpose being ignored by the Buckeye Police Department. They also, to this day, have not given me information about who towed that vehicle away. When I asked them, that was the only way to go see that vehicle. It magically disappeared, according to this guy who went out there to check on it. And to this day, and then 2 days later, here they say, "Oh, here's your son's vehicle in the desert." I'm looking at those things too, and those things that is part of the timeline. I need to add that as well. But anyway, you guys, they hired their own PI. Who, in my opinion, is hired to rebut the findings, because they want that vehicle to be there for 30 days, you guys. They wanted to be there badly for whatever reason. That to the point this guy have made a full report about my son's vehicle. He have never seen physically, never physically touched it, didn't have any dealing with my son's vehicle. This had, I guess, the same pictures I had from the Buckeye Police Department. They didn't know forensic stuff. They took the pictures, the same picture. They gave me all the pictures that Cheehoff got. So whatever I got, they got. This so-called investigator of theirs, right? And he doing an investigation about a vehicle off some pictures, you guys. And the insult to injury is that he didn't go to the manufacturers to ask about this data thing with the mileage, right? He went to a dealership. Now, as far as I know, he knocked on some dude who worked there, the maintenance guy, cleaning the floors, and tapped on his shoulder and asked him a question. Then he put in a report to say, "Oh yeah, Jeep said this. I went to a Jeep dealership and Jeep expert. I mean, it could be anybody. Who is this person that said that? Do they work for the manufacturing company? Are they one of the engineers of this vehicle? No. It to me, it was just a clever way of trying to rebut my investigators' finding that would say foul play. So anyway, you guys, October the 6th, former search coordinator brought second person. You guys know about that story. I'm gonna go skip over this and I'll talk about this thing some other time, you guys, because I'm running out of time. Also on the 18th, the Buckeye PD private investigator released his report. I call it a bogus report. So, let me go back. All right, and also, you guys, I just want to put this information out right here. I want to tell you guys, thank you again for all the support you guys financially and everything you have done, physically and financially. You guys have provided me to be able to remain in Arizona as long as I did, as well as do all the searches I have performed. You guys have helped me supply getting all these thousands of flyers out across this country, as well as traveling to follow tips to going out to do interviews. You name it, all the stuff, you guys. Also, these billboards right here that you see across Phoenix, from the east side of Phoenix to the west side, going out west of Phoenix. Also in Phoenix and west of Phoenix towards Buckeye, you'll see these billboards, and I was really appreciative of you guys and also Lamar, who gave a great deal on these billboards. So thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate that. Also, you guys, please help find Daniel. Search for Daniel is led by me. Found human remains. Okay, I got this information again. You got found some more human remains. This one was like fresher. You guys, I told you the story about that. I'm rushing you guys because I want to get some of your questions as well. I got some other thing I want to share with you guys before I get off this Q&A. But it was so for human remains was found again. That's the ones I told you guys before. They try to call it human. I'm telling you guys, they was on the campaign of taking all those about 7 human remains that we found at the time that they verified. We didn't verify. They didn't come from my searches, you guys. We found tons of animal remains, but we found human remains as well. And but by the count, because of the items, like I said, if it's 3 femurs, we know that's 2 people, right? So you start doing by the count, and we got up to near 7, according to the Buckeye Police Department at the time. But once this case started getting kind of national, they started going lower and lower, kind of claiming out the numbers, bringing it lower and lower and lower and lower, right? To the point where this human remains are found on the 6th, November 6th. You guys, they even called that human animal remains. I told you guys, my searches are set up this way for Buckeye Police Department to get any information I found in the desert. And they say I was holding back information, but I'm the one that giving them free stuff. I was doing the work, you guys. Everything that Buckeye have, I did it myself. Anything they have, I the one did the stuff, you guys. So I can take credit for that. Because my search was designed that whenever volunteers find anything, they take pictures, they upload it into the website, and a copy goes straight to the Detective Biff in the Buckeye Police Department. One go to my investigator, and one goes to me, right, for my records. And they the one keep going back to the Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office and identifying these as human remains, right? And then ones as animal remains, they'll tell us that too. Now, the thing is, this time, like I said, you guys, I was really upset because they started on the media started trying to downplay the number of human remains was found out there, and it was irritating me because I knew the hard work that the volunteers were doing out there. They haven't found anything out there. Like I said, you guys, the law enforcement haven't found a construction cone to this date, and but we've been finding things for law enforcement. We've been finding things for other people's families, bringing closures. And that was an insult to me, to all those wonderful men and women that's out there busting their tail to help me find Daniel. And we was unfortunately finding other human remains out there. And that was an insult to injury to them, and it was disrespectful to me, and it made me angry when they called these remains animal. We sent it first. We sent it up to them like we normally do, this normal channel. They claimed they didn't receive it. Buckeye, oh, we didn't receive it. Oh, we're gonna receive it. We sent it to them again, and they had sent an officer out. He sent it. We made him send it through his phone or something out other. And then they said, oh, they're just animal remains. I'm like, and I got pissed off because I'm like, here y'all go again, calling these. We know these are human remains. We could tell the difference. And this was really fresh, you guys. And it hurt me because this is somebody's family member. It could be Daniel. I was really afraid at the time. I was scrubbing that ravine, trying to get every piece of this person, because if it's Daniel or anybody, every part need to be found, right? And so we demanded to have that thing sent up to Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office. We waited 3 hours, and they all came back up as human remains. That's the first time, you guys, in that desert I've seen the Buckeye Police Department was forced because of that to make it a crime scene. They put out yellow tape. I immediately told my investigator to do a video. I couldn't even talk. I was so stunned. I told him I want him to go ahead and talk. I just stand there, and I wanted them to put it out into the social media and to you guys to know that we found these fresh human remains, right? And the reason why is because if it was Daniel, I don't need them hiding nothing, right? Didn't trust Buckeye. So I stayed there behind the scene, you guys. At the same time, I told you that the Buckeye Police Department sent everybody off the scene. Of course, they made a crime scene. I stand on the shoulder of the road with the detectives while everybody took off. And I was refusing to leave at the time. They said, Miss Rob, we'll handle, we'll give you information, blah, 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 so on and so on. They convinced me that it's okay to leave, and they would give me information if they find anything. I hopped in my vehicle, started heading to Phoenix, take about 40-minute ride. I was probably about 15 minutes or so inside that ride when they called me back and told me it wasn't Daniel. Well, how you know that quickly, but which I'm grateful to hear that, but how you know that quickly, they said, is because it's not a black man's bones. That was the indicate, that was the given to me at the time. So of course, once I put all that stuff in social media, the news media reached out to me, and I told them, hey, Buckeye said it wasn't Daniel, right? But anyway, you guys, I started receiving ransom emails, of course, and that was really rough. I still get those. Also, sent a letter out to Chief Hall requesting the FBI in my son's case, and I described these things, you guys, as a crime scene. All the stuff we've been finding out there in that desert, all the bodies we've found out in that desert. My son went missing in that desert. The scene where he went missing, the vehicle, is a crime scene, despite what they're saying. The FBI need to come into this case, right? The story that the man told don't match the timeline or whatever from Daniel's cell phone records. You name it. They need to come into this case. Of course, I reached out to Chief Hall, and he agreed to have a case briefing with the FBI. Soon we sent the letter off, he responded. I think it was the next day. He responded, said, yeah, he's going to do so. And the same day we got that response email back, I said, me and my attorney, she sent the email directly back to him immediately, requesting that she and I to be there. If they don't want her there because she's attorney, at least I need to be there to be present with this FBI case briefing, right? They did not do so. I was really anxious about it because they didn't respond. And she told me, give them some time, let them respond. Okay. But they called back, didn't respond, called back and say, oh, yeah, we had this case briefing, and told me that bogus stuff, you guys, that the FBI said that you, Mr. Robinson, doing such a great job on your own, we don't have to come in. That was an insult to injury, because by that time I started telling my family, started telling you guys in the public that the FBI is in my son's case. It's embarrassing. It was embarrassing to be rejected that way. It felt like a rejection. And but then it was ludicrous because of what was said. Like I'm doing a better job than the FBI, who have skills and technology to do that kind of work. All right, okay, and let's see. Also had an investigator. I had to follow up with the leads on the Flagstaff. You guys, and those leads. I'll tell you again, guys. Thanks so much for allowing me to be able to have a private investigator to be able to provide all the equipment and things that he needed as well to do his job. Him and his team, right? So you guys have helped me out a lot in all of this. It's very costly, you guys, and you guys have helped me tremendously to be functioning all this time. Also, November 26th, my investigator quit. You guys, I already told you the details of that, about the way he quit, and that's only because I asked him to stop doing interviews because he went out and put a theory out there that's not facts, but put a theory out about some PCP, possible PCP laced marijuana, and it was one of the things that caught me off guard for even suggesting that. First of all, the other party is doing so to the public without telling me anything. I thought that was very out of step with client, person thing. So if you have a theory like that you want to follow down and look as a possibility, that's something that he should have kept to himself, or just talk to me about it one-on-one, and we could have did that. But I have no problem with following up theories, say, because that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to look for anything, and I'm open to that. Yeah, I'm just not open to putting assumptions out there, because people hear things from an investigator. The first thing they'll take it as facts, so he was in the wrong for doing that. So I asked him not to, and that was enough for him to want to stop working. All right, and told him to focus on investigating and not interviews. Make a long story. All right, and so let me see here. My team member and I attended the Buckeye City Council meeting. Of course, you guys know I've been there twice. Got the Police Help Find Daniel shirt, T-shirts. You guys, some people's asking for those. I'm trying in the avenue of trying to figure out how to supply those to you guys if you are interested in those shirts that we have on the team and I. But yeah, we wore those shirts out into the Buckeye Police Department. Both Buckeye City Council meeting to, because of course, the mayor to the city attorney to city managers to the whole entire city council members, to this date, they never gave a condolences, never acknowledged me, anything. Even in that meeting, you guys, it looked like they looked at me like they didn't want me there. They're like stone figures to me, like that, like I hate, saying I hate you even standing here right now. That's what it felt like, very cold and hard and stiff. And they showed me who they are. But the thing is, I'm saying they have not acknowledged me at all after everything that was going on in the desert, me desperately looking for my son. So I came to them, let them know, hey, look, I know I'm here, and I'm going to show you. All right, so that's the reason why we did that. 3/15, March 15th, 2022, sent a letter out to City of Buckeye City Council on days. It was the second letter. Of course, they don't respond. Also had a kind of like visual, guys, have events for families and things like that to try to help other families. So go back to everything that Dave remembers, you guys, and this is it on the timeline, you guys. I'm going to add some more details, like some of those things I've talked about, but I also want to talk about this. We have no justice. There would be no peace. We demand actions, you guys. There's going to be some actions going to have to be done in my son's case, right? Those actions have to be done, you guys. And I mean, when I say actions at this point, I haven't been getting the kind of action I'm looking for. I'm saying, of course, here it is after almost 2 years later. I got them to be able to do certain searches. When I'm trying to do some things here, finally get them to do some searches. What I'm really happy that they went to do, but of course, again, they come up empty-handed, you guys. But I look at it as emotional things, because I'm really giving them a lot of hell in a sense. But they don't get no reward for that. Law enforcement, just like I don't get no reward for searching for my son. I'm a father, and it's my job and my duty and my honor to go look for my son and fight for his justice and fight for him, right? They don't get no cookie either, because they're doing their job, right? That they should have done in the first place. The same actions that you guys hear of anything that Buckeye claiming they're doing to this right now at this moment is things that should have been done on day one. And I'm showing the reasons why we got to this point. The reasons why I had the family press conference twice. The reasons why that I was asking them people to go out into the desert to search for my son. The reason why I don't believe that the Phoenix Firebird helicopter actually flew. You know what I'm saying? So these are the reasons why, you guys, and I'm telling you that that I have to get justice in my son's case. So I'm going to put this information up here, guys. I'm talk through it. No justice, no peace. We demand action. And you guys, my extended family, I really need you guys to help me out with this. Also, no justice, no peace. means that no justice, no peace means that there can be no peace without justice. My son Daniel has been missing for nearly 2 years, you guys. It's time for justice in this case. And what justice means, my experience for searching my son, I had to put my investigator's hat on, you guys. I had to do my own investigations that I'm doing even to this date. I found out more information that the Buckeye Police Department is putting out. All those things you guys hear, do not get confused that the Buckeye Police Department found these things. No, these things they took from my investigator and myself that we gave to them. They have no indication, they have no information, they have no nothing. Those things they talk about outside of their, in my opinion, bogus report from their own private investigator designed to rebut those findings that we gave to them, they have nothing. They have nothing. They can show you anything, guys, that they can tell, oh, we went to go follow this lead, right? They actually, I told you guys one time, they told me a lead that the one in Flagstaff, I'm talking about at the Sprouts grocery store, they called me about something that we did. That lead came out a couple months before he called me. He called me and tell me the story that we told them. Like it pretends, in my opinion, to that they did it, but we the one that did it. My investigator and I. But anyway, had to put my investigator hat on, my search hat on, and I had to be an advocate not only for my son but for others. You guys, of course, guys, I built the Daniel Robinson Foundation as well as doing those events I just showed you, and definitely being an advocate for other people because it's not just about me and my family; it's also about those families of the missing, right? And also, of course, you guys, like I said, I had to put those different hats on to fight for Daniel. Also, you guys, I want to say the effects of injustice, because this is an injustice in the case, you guys. At this point, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a criminal case with all the evidence that we provided the Buckeye Police Department, all the evidence that's there available that they're refusing to accept, you guys, of foul play. Even the information of the fact that the family, we know that something is not right. We know that Daniel's his characteristics and who he is as a person. We look at everything on the scene. A person like anybody can look at, anybody with half a brain can look at that scene and see foul play and see what happened. Minus the physical information that my investigator provided to the Buckeye Police Department. So the effects of injustice is injustice creates anger. It creates frustration and a sense of powerlessness, right? Feel like you can't do no. What can you do? Because I know I'm telling you guys at times I feel like, hey, what else can I do? I sit here. You guys just heard me get quiet. I told you guys I had this stuff up. I had to take a break, you guys. I had family emergencies, dealing with my family this week. So you guys can pray for my family as well. Some things that definitely won't be put in public, but I have some family emergencies, two things happening, and I need a break. I'm a human being, going through all these different changes. But there's the whole facts of it, the matter, you guys. Injustice creates anger. It creates frustration because it's frustrating when you see, they can play these games. They play word games, so you name it, and then you come off some people may as you just don't like police or something. No, I'm an advocate for police, but I'm an advocate for good policing. You guys will hear about that as well. Also, injustice create anger, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness. So that happens with families. Saying you feel like, what can you do? How can you change this outcome? How can you keep this case from becoming cold, especially with all this physical hard evidence and law enforcement unwilling to act upon? What can you do? It can lead to social unrest and protests. That's why people get in the streets, and that's why I'm asking you guys to join in with me with this protest. There's going to be two forms of protest that I'm talking about. Let's work towards justice. Because law enforcement was slow to act initially, Daniel remained missing. Like I told you guys, that some people say the first 24, 40 hours is important. No, the first hours before that 24 hours is very crucial. The first moment, because I'm telling you something, you guys, this 24 hour crap, that is too long for a missing persons case. I don't know about a criminal case, but I know for a missing person case, that is too long. I did my due diligence. My daughter went to Dan's apartment. We made the phone calls. We took into account Daniel's characteristics, his patterns, right? We called his friends. We did everything. We call this job. We did everything possibly that we could do to make sure that Daniel's indeed missing, right? So we don't have to wait 24 hours to figure that out. We know our person. Families know their person. This should be an immediate thing. That's the reason why law enforcement should be handling this type of stuff, you guys. And I'm still advocate for that. I talked to some officials as well for the Arizona Senate officials, and I described just that to them. We shouldn't be waiting for that kind of stuff. It should be now. We should have the department within the department is what I talked to these officials about, especially for states like Arizona, California, New York, Alaska. You know, a lot of these states that have a high missing person rate, right? We should be a department within the department that actually that's all they do. That's all they do. Somebody calling, they'll call in the police while they call this department and say, "Hey, my loved one is missing." They have all the avenues and resources there to act immediately because that's important. Because law enforcement was slow to act in Daniel's case initially, Daniel remains missing to this day, and that is the chief reason, you guys. We ain't gonna lose focus of that. The Buckeye Police Department, they rejected to first of all, the Tempe Police Department started off with that. They rejected going out to do a welfare check, though Daniel is a resident of Tempe, right? Then they move over to Buckeye, Arizona as well, right? They didn't do initial welfare check then. It took them a while. You guys see on the timeline, it took them all the way into July before they did that welfare check and went in because the apartment complex allowed them in there to take pictures. That was a welfare check inside. That's what you call a welfare check, being able to go inside to check, not peeking through a crack in the blinds on a patio door. That's not a welfare check. Oh, look at the door now to make sure nobody kicked the door in. You don't know what's going on inside that apartment. That's not a welfare check, you know. So the thing is, those things didn't happen, and then also the fact that I requested for them to go into that desert at night with a helicopter. They rejected that. The next day they rejected, and then they rejected again, right? To go out and put a helicopter search and go look for Daniel immediately, right? So, and also the assumptions that Daniel wanted to go missing on his own. All right. So, all right, they'll slow that initially is the reason why Daniel remained missing because law enforcement refused to take the physical evidence of foul play that I gave them. Daniel's justice has been hampered. Somebody did something to Daniel. They planted that vehicle, as Mr. McGrath said. There's DNA evidence that I'm still holding from that scene that was given to me in the baggies marked for safekeeping. No forensics done on all electronics until I had to go outside to a law enforcement in Tempe to do a partial. They didn't do a total full forensics on it to get enough information off that stuff. This is called injustice, you guys. This is not justice in Daniel's case. I'm telling you guys, that's half-ass work, you know. And you know, you guys, because law enforcement refuses to take these things, Buckeye, and see it, view it as what it really is, tangible evidence. When we gave it to them, I'm telling you, that's when my relationship with them. I used to talk to Buckeye all the time. As soon as my investigator gave them that stuff that rebutted their idea that this vehicle's been here for 30 days, and then we have physical evidence of that not being true, that hurt their feelings or something, because they stopped talking to me and they hired their own investigator to rebut that. They refusing to accept that as facts, which it is facts. It's hard physical facts. Also, you guys, I want to put on here as well. If you have, I have a solution to this problem that I'm having about Daniel. I'm demanding that the Buckeye Police Department release my son's case to an outside agency that will bring results. Because you know what? They have damaged Daniel's case long enough. I've sent a letter out to Chief Hall asking him to have my son's case moved over to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office or the FBI. His response was ignoring those things and start talking about what he think he done, which they have done nothing much at all. And so to me, there's a slap in the face. I responded about to respond to that letter, you guys, but God told me don't respond, just act. And so I'm telling you guys, this is the actions. It's old saying I like to do right here, guys. Sometimes I can show you better, I can tell you. That's my saying as well. I like to go by living by those rules. I can show you better than I can tell you. You know, so if I could respond back to his response to my letter request, my formal request, but I'm going to show him. Like I said, you guys, you can help me as well. I would not let that department rest or any other department rest until I get the results that I need for my son. All right. Since my son went missing, the Buckeye Police Department has not found anything to bring us closer to answers. They haven't found anything. I told you guys they go out in the desert and they found a construction cone. They haven't found anything. They just say, "Oh, they always come up in their hand." It's almost like a person you ask them for something and they'll pull the bottom of their pocket out and say, "I ain't got nothing." That's the Buckeye Police Department. While we are finding things and we're constantly coming up with information, my investigator came up with information that they're refusing. I come up with information that they're refusing. The searchers come up with information that they're refusing. So, we got to do something, you guys. Something had to give, and that's the reason why I'm really pushing this thing really further. All right. They do not have available cell phone pings or traffic camera footage, nor do they have a location that the Uconnect in Daniel's Jeep provides. Again, you guys, remember I'm telling you over and over again how they just simply, some kind of way, magically, conveniently, anything that can locate Daniel is magically impossible, unable to do. Some things can be ironic, but things like this cannot be ironic. You got 3 avenues at the beginning that can help locate Daniel, and those 3 avenues at the beginning somehow magically is impossible for them to get. It just ain't working out for some reason, right? So Ken's still around. Let's hear his cell phone pings records. Where was he at the time when Daniel went missing? Let's see his phone records. What was in his phone? Let's hear about his phone calls. They put this young lady, this thing to make him like he's some type of stalker and all kind of stuff. Where's Ken's message? Where's this other young lady that was in that apartment? I'm telling you guys, they cherry pick and pick what they want into Daniel's case. That is not convenient that's not good for Daniel. Again, another reason why the Buckeye Police Department need to release my son's case. And don't stop holding. What we're gonna say, you guys, they need to stop holding Daniel's case hostage, because that's what they're doing right now. They're holding Daniel's case hostage for their own ego. It ain't about Buckeye Police Department. It's about my son. I've been out since he went missing to find my son. It's not about Buckeye Police Department. If they really have integrity and it's showing who they are, you guys. I'm telling you, believe people when they show you. If it's about finding Daniel, they would actually give the family I don't have no confidence in that department. We don't have no confidence. You guys see them. They would be willing to go ahead and move it over for the family's sake to another department who gives us a fresh eyes and a fresh look into my son's case, and maybe they can find Daniel. It ain't about their ego. Who cares about their feelings? It ain't about their feelings. Their son is not missing. My son is missing. They do not have the available cell phone pings and things. Everything that can help in finding Daniel seems conveniently blocked by the Buckeye Police Department. Now they are blocking other agencies that may be able to help. You guys, I know I reached out for them to do the FBI. They blocked it because they wanted to make sure I wasn't part of it, because I couldn't hear what they was telling the FBI. I couldn't hear those bogus things I'm sure they said. I can't hear the claims that they gave the Buckeye Police Department as if they did it themselves, right? All the information they got, I'm telling you, we made it available to them. I have made my information available. I felt like I was working for the Buckeye Police Department. They actually had my tip line. Anytime you guys would call my anonymous tip line or whatever, those things went to the Buckeye Police Department at one point until I say, you know what, forget that. I'm paying for this. What are they doing? I even asked the Buckeye Police Department to help with Chief Hall directly to help me up the reward, and he came with all these excuses why he can't. Right, help even the reward to find Daniel. So I don't work for the Buckeye Police Department. The Buckeye Police, I think they confused. They must have got knocked in the head or something because they confused. They work for us. We don't work for them, you guys. And I'm not going to allow the Chief Hall to throw off of me. And he accused me a lot of times. You have to pay for that as well. Accused me a lot of time of holding back information in letter. Anytime I asked him, so I asked for the FBI, his response in the letter, he got thrown in this thing every time, accusing me of holding back. And after all the stuff I've given to the Buckeye Police Department to help find my son, and what they did with this thing, they rebutted and found ways to block it, right? So, of course, we will fight to change the outcome of this, you guys. and I really need your help on doing so. What we can do, we will peacefully protest in two forms, you guys. I put a thought into this thing. We're gonna do it in two ways. The first way is I created this mail-in protest, you guys. That's for everybody. I don't care where you at. You supporting my cause. You know, you want to be a part of this protest. You don't even have to leave your house, right? Of course, you have to leave your house to get this mail in, but or however you do, you put on your front door in your mailbox, put a little thing up or something. I don't know. But anyway, I created this mail-in protest that I'm putting together here. And I already had a PDF for you guys. All of this is a PDF, guys. You guys can print out and you can send it to this address that's on the PDF, because we're gonna do it in a small form, and we're gonna flood them with these emails, these letters. You guys, you can get your friends, your family to participate. Everybody you can, a school, kids, I don't care. Everybody just put these. All you do is put these letters, these things. You can do 20 of them, 50 of them. I don't care. But we need it in a small window to flood them out. Get all this mail sits in. That's a form of protest that I'm doing. I created this mail-in protest to get the targeted departments, and those things are the target. I'm about to show you in a minute. Actions, departments, actions, and attention and action. We're gonna get their attention and get them to do action, and especially my request and my demand to have my son's case moved to a different department. And these departments that is not unwilling to accept is gonna get hit up too, and they know who they are. Next, we will have a protest at their department. There's gonna be a physical protest to back the mail-in protest up, you guys. I will be putting that event out as well, and the date and the deadline where we're gonna have these protests. Especially, I love the fact that one of these guys are elected official law enforcement, and this coming to a time, guys. I'm really gonna have some things happening from that way too. I need you to join us and invite families, family and friends. This is a grassroots effort, just like you guys have been doing on day one. You guys have been supporting this effort. You guys sitting here listening to me now. This is family to me. You know, you guys have been out there in the desert with me. You guys have been donating your money. You guys have been encouraging me. You guys have been praying for me and my family. So I'll tell you what, you guys have been searching for Daniel on your own. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. You guys have been writing law enforcement. So like I said, this is a grassroots effort. I need you guys, and I really appreciate you taking Daniel's case as if it's your own child. Daniel is America's son, and that's the way I like to express him, because you know what? He brings people together. That's his personality. He brings the family together. We have any kind of disputes. Daniel have a lot of friends. It's just something about Daniel that causes people to want to get together and help, and I really appreciate you guys for doing so. And also, Daniel is a type of shadow of things that happen in this country, right? It's not just happening to my family, it happens to other people's families as well. A lot of people I talk to have missing loved ones, and it hurts, you know, just to even hear their stories, but that's exactly what happens. A lot of people are missing to this date, and we need to help them as well. So definitely this is a grassroots effort, and I need your help, you guys. I need you to join us and invite your family and friends. This is a grassroots effort. There's power in people. My uncle told me that on day one I came to Arizona, and I really believe that. Also, thank you guys for allowing me to share my efforts to get justice for Daniel with you today. Let's continue to work towards a solution that will create results. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. And what I want to share as well is this the PDF. The letters will be in these forms, you guys, as a PDF. So all you have to do, like I said, this right here is the first one that I'm showing you. It's a FOIA request, you guys. All you have to do is get these things in the mail, those requests, and you know, all of us should get the information about. Let's hear. Let's everybody. If you want information, you guys, let's hear what those departments have to say. We're gonna get this information. We're gonna get to the bottom of this if these things actually happen. We want to find out if this Phoenix Firebird helicopter ever flew. We want to find out all this information they claim that they, you know, so this kind of, we want to get these footages or these cam, what's called you know, body cams. This whatever, you know, so with the FOIA requests, you guys. So that's one of them. The other thing is we also got a letter to Chief Hall. This is going directly for the Buckeye Police Department. So the address is a bit at the top of the letters, you guys. Where you can actually know where to send these letters out to. But this is a letter right here to Chief Hall, and you know, asking again, and the reasons why that I wish I could make it bigger for you guys, but the reasons why I want my son's case, and you guys, as a concerned citizen, you guys want to see Daniel's case move over to a different department as well. So again, thank you guys for joining in on this Q&A. I really appreciate you guys. Again, thank you everybody who's in the chat who came out this morning, East Sands. Again, everybody who came out to join me this morning. Have you thought about reaching out to Tyler Henry? I don't know who that is. He's a medium. No, I have not answered that, but thank you so much for your suggestions. Also, RQ, thank you again. And if guys have any questions, I'm trying to get this last few minutes for questions. Oh, yeah, that's so sweet of you guys. My daughter, she would love to see that. Yeah, you say happy birthday. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Melissa. T and Wildflower, thank you so much. Also being here. And thank you, Baby Doll, again. Thank you, Shauna, for putting the happy birthday wishes for my daughter, Talia. I really appreciate that as well. That's really nice of you. Also, I have a question from Baby Doll. Thank you, Baby Doll. I have watched the Disappear episode. Do you think the girl he was seeing is involved in any way? I would not. I never excluded her, you guys. And you know, it's a reason why. Anytime Buckeye Police Department do anything, I look at it as suspect because you know, like I said, just being the fact that they put us in, because all that kind of go together with the storyline, right? When they put us in the interrogation room and had us sitting there for a while to try to figure out, come up with something where we felt that Daniel was acting weird or odd or strange or something or depressed or whatever. Of course, you sit there long enough, you start coming up with things because we really a mindset trying to help understand what happened to Daniel. We don't know as a family at the time. So, yeah, but definitely, yes, I never did take away from the idea that, you know, she possibly be involved. So I don't know. So definitely thanks so much for that question as well. Also, thank you, Tracy, for being here. I really appreciate that. You guys there, Turbo, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate. Thank you for sharing sharing this information on social media. Thank you, JC Adams. Thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you, T and Wildflower. Thank you so much. Question you got here: is Maricopa County aware of the results from Tempe testing of Dane's computer? Yes, they are. You know, I was a little uptight with Tempe at the time because even though they didn't so-called, I talked to my team. They say they never really agreed. But my understanding at the time when I was asking them to do those forensics on Dane's electronics is not to give Buckeye anything, right? I don't trust Buckeye. I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them to do right with information. They haven't done right with the information from the scene that my investigator provided to them. They haven't done right with nothing. The fact that we found human remains, they haven't done right with a lot of things. And I doubt they would do right. They did right with the items that they gave me. And they wouldn't do right by anything given them. I don't trust Buckeye with anything. I don't trust them as far as I can see them. Right. So of course, that's the first thing I asked with Tempe, the chief at the time, Anderson, and also his staff too. Also the chief at the time, Glover, that hey, look, this is what I didn't want. I didn't want Buckeye have any information from that, but they kept insisting that it's Buckeye's case, right? And so that's where we had come to the problem of, you know, this whole thing, you guys, going back and forth about who case it should have been. It should have been Tempe's case at the beginning. Tempe's trying to rebut that really hard. That's another story, guys, to go back and forth. But Tempe should have been. My son is a resident of Tempe. We talked to the mayor. Tempe was part of the meeting as well. The mayor Woods was part of the meeting that we had, and you know, I expressed to him as well. You know, hey, this should have been Tempe's. My Larnell, he expressed that too. You know, he's a law enforcement himself. You know, retired law enforcement officer. So himself, he knows about how those things rolls. They claiming that Tempe have a different set of rules, basically, for themselves. All right, but anyway, Shauna, thank you so much for your question. To your knowledge, did Buckeye do any additional checks of the tree and K9's target that the K9's targeted on? To my knowledge, no, they have not. Matter of fact, to this date, I haven't yet to hear anything of them ever finding anything with K9s. You know, we did get information about the K9s, what our K9s have found, but no.
All right, here we go. Here, Shauna, thanks for your question. Did the Buckeye Police Department give you name? Excuse me, give you the name and information of the tow company? They did not. I asked Detective Biffin about that. To this date, I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out myself. I don't know. They would not answer that question, especially the day of, when the day when that vehicle got towed away. I tried to get information from Detective Biffin then. I don't think he was really quickly to say it's not your son's vehicle without even looking at it. So, all right, Manissa, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. No justice, no peace. Hashtag please help find Daniel. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you. God bless you, because you're such a wonderful person. Again, I really appreciate you being an ally to my fight for my son. Thank you so much. All right, and let's see. Thank you, Tracy Field. Thanks so much for your prayers. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Adora. Thanks so much for the Mama's Garden. Thank you so much for Eudora, for the super chat. God bless you, and I really appreciate that. That's really wonderful of you to support, and that's all I'm talking about. You guys, you guys have been supporting, and like I said, I appreciate everything you guys done and every effort you guys do to try to help me locate my son. So I really need your help. I really appreciate your help. Going on to this protest, this mail-in protest, you guys, I will be putting those information on the website. There'll be some instructional stuff as well. The PDF will be there for you to go ahead and be able to start downloading those things, and be able to, get them in the mail. If you want to mass produce them, whatever the case may be, to send these letters out to these departments, please do so. We're gonna start now, and the date. I'm going to get a date. Also, date is April the 10th. There's gonna be a window, you guys. The date is on the April the 10th window there for. Let me see. I'll make sure I get this week right. It's gonna be the 10th of April, and it's going to end. The window that we're mailing out is between the 10th and the 13th, right? So the reason why I'm doing that, you guys, and I really wanted to be more like the 10th and the 12th, and for the Q&A, right? And I'm saying the reason why I wanted those 3 days is because I tried to average out. Let's say somebody sending these departments their letters from the East Coast. I'm thinking it's roughly going to take 3 days. You send it out on Monday, they probably won't get it to Thursday. So I probably would go ahead and keep it as the window. The mail out window should be from the 10th and 11th if you can. You guys can, depending on where you live. You want to do it the earliest possible. If you happen to just be in Arizona, except if you want to do it, of course, you got all the way to Wednesday. You can just do it on the 12th and 13th. But yeah, the 13th would be the 10th and 13th. You guys, what I'm going to put on as the window that these mails have to be at the post office, have to be mailed out. And because it defeats the whole purpose. The protest is engaged is to have all this mail, this bulk of mail coming in at one time to these departments, right? And that's the protest. And to get their attention is always also disrupt. So thank you guys for participating for that. Let me see here. I got any more questions, you guys? Don't forget to put that capital letter Q, word question. I am coming up to a 2-hour mark. T and Wildflower, thank you so much. Did Ken explain? Thank you for your question. Did Ken explain why he never responded to Daniel's phone call and text for direction? Not to me. When I talked to Ken, it was more so just hearing his side of the story. I talked to my investigator. He said, "Oh, I talked to Ken. I'm tell you something. No, not throwing any shade on my investigator or anybody on the behalf, but it seems to me that every time people talk to Ken, it's more that I hear the word I spoke with him. I never heard the interrogation word. I never heard anything like deep. Even with the young lady, I never hear this digging into a person. They never dig into his story, digging like I have. You guys physically went out and drove his story, digging into his story, and found that it don't make sense. Digging into it, looking at the cell phone records for Daniel, and it don't make sense. So on and so on. So the point I'm making is, no, I haven't heard anybody actually digging into this guy to get those kind of answers. I can't do it. I couldn't get those at the time. I didn't know to ask that kind of question. Saying when I met him, that's when I first came to Arizona. First time and only time I talked to him. All right, T and Wildflower, did Ken say when the fuel truck came out to the site? I don't know.
Like I said, again, I don't know those answers because unless my investigator, and I still, guys, I don't have information what Mr. McGrath asked, so I don't know information that this forensic he said he did in my son's apartment. I don't have those. Those are things that he just some reason for his reasons did not give me that I it's paid for, but I didn't receive it. But I don't have information on that from Buckeye anybody. Like I said again, I don't think they dig into these people. They just take his word for it because he's kin, I guess. I would say it a different way, but they just take his word for it. All right. Thanks so much for the happy birthday wishes, Kristen. I really appreciate that. Talia will definitely love that, you guys. I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Baby Doll, for putting us up. Also, hashtag Justice for Daniel. I would like to see that, you guys. We use that hashtag. Justice for Daniel Robinson. Make sure you put Justice for Daniel Robinson because there is a hashtag already out there. Justice for Daniel. You can use both because if whoever this other Daniel is that's need justice, he needs justice as well. But to be specific to my son, put Daniel Robinson because I went to do that, use that hashtag before, and that hashtag has already been utilized for a different Daniel. And like I said, you guys, you can use both because that Daniel needs justice as well. I hope they found justice. Thank you so much, Lois, for being here as well. Thank you for your question. Oh, happy birthday. Thank you for the birthday wishes for my daughter, Talia. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Teresa, for your prayers. You guys, if you have any more questions, I would like to see those as well. I have right at 2-hour mark. No justice, no peace for Daniel Robinson. Yes. Thank you for the hashtag as well. I will be using that one. So thank you, Lois. Thank you for the super chat, Lois. I really appreciate it. God bless you. That's really wonderful of you as well. And your constant love and support. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for moderating as well as, like I said, being one of the backbones of this whole movement of trying to find Daniel. So I really appreciate that. All right. Thank you. And thank you, Shauna, because, the team agree. And we really appreciate you from a team's perspective as well. Also, question, PM channel, have you considered getting a sponsor to offer a reward for information regarding Daniel's disappearance? And you know what? No, I have not. I don't know anything about getting a sponsor for that. But yeah, I do have one person. He's you guys will be hearing about him in a little while. He's a celebrity who's going to be helping out with getting Daniel's case out there a little farther to get justice in this case, to bring the noise. Like I said, you guys, this protest, this physical protest is going to be something else. I don't want a regular protest either. I want to try to get a protest holiday. We already know the Buckeye Police Department don't even open up on weekends. They close on the weekends. So we're going to get this weekday protesting in the day hours while they're working in their front door in their place. Also, the Maricopa County or whoever we need to hit up, we will be doing that as well. So definitely gonna make this protest work. And like I said, the celebrity will be able to bring more attention. All right. All right, Amy, thank you so much for being here as well. Amy, Rebecca, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. God bless you. And thank you again, Lois. That's it, you guys. I really appreciate your time being here this morning. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. Yes. I want to say this real quick to you guys. I will not have a Q&A this evening, prime time, because I will be spending it with my daughter. Okay. I'll be spending this evening with my daughter for her birthday, and I'm going to focus on her. I'm a father, and our children need us, right? And so, it's hard for her to, Daniel's youngest sister, that he's missing. But I want to make sure that, I do everything as a father. I had to be in my child's actively take care of her as well. So, like I said, you guys, it's a big responsibility doing things in Arizona as well as take care of things back in South Carolina, doing both, right? So my daughter's my pride and joy. I have two that's already grown, twins, and they're, so really, really happy to be spending time with her this evening. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Team Wildflower, as well. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you again for being ambassador, the first ambassador for the Best of the program. And and I want to say this to you guys. I apologize for those who probably came Thursday. I had a family emergency, like I told you guys. Pray for my family.
Things happen, you guys. Like I said, all days are good days, but bad things can happen in the day. But pray for my family, you guys. I have some serious matters that happen in the family, and I had to get my mind right. I had to stop, I had to pause. So you guys didn't see me in the best of the program. I wasn't there, didn't show up. Those be reasons, guys. If it happens, I apologize up front. Those are reasons, because it's something that happened and that you can't control. So, again, thank you, guys. I won't not be seeing you this evening. I wish I could, but I will be spending that time with my daughter for her birthday. Thank you, guys. I love each and every last one of you. God bless. I'll see you on the next Q&A.